All right, hi everybody. I'm Joey Florence, and as you may have already heard, Canadian Ability Foundation's Power Up program, funded by the RBC Foundation, is designed to help you uncover the hidden job market and find ways to better access opportunities. As part of our ongoing Power Up video series, I'm happy to introduce Tamara Zalev. Tamara is lead job coach of RENA's supported employment services, as well as the direct support professional with Channels North, RENA's community participation program serving York Region. Tamara's career at RENA has spanned over 20 years in many different roles and departments from outreach, residential, respite, day and community participation programs to employment. She has honed a unique expertise in helping individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities, including dual diagnosis and complex needs, to achieve their employment, career, and personal goals, as well as their families and support systems. Further, Tamara has a unique gift for facilitating customized vocational and life skills training and workshops with both groups and individuals in a safe, inclusive, and respectful learning environment. She's also known at the organization for her advocacy work with the support individuals, as is recognized for her talent to build long-term and sustainable partnerships with employers to help them with building an inclusive and diverse workplace. She's also trained in assist and a relationship group trainer. She's been a guest speaker at conferences and panels on topics related to the DSO sector and in the subject matter expert for Rena's monthly employment advice column blog, Dear Joanna. Together today, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to prepare to shine at work, including resumes, references, readiness, and real life prep. Our goal is to demonstrate the practical preparation that goes beyond the paperwork. So we'll talk about what it is that you'll need before applying and also what you should prepare for a day-to-day work life. So with that, let's get started. So hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi, Joey. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So something that you heard that we're going to be talking about today is preparing for the first day. And the question that I kind of want to start today off is what helped you feel ready for your first day on the job, not just on paper, but in real life?
So, a lot of the individuals that we work with, right, might have what we call hard skills, right? So, when we're looking at should we apply for this job, we kind of look to see if they have the proper skills. So, like, for example, if you're applying, for somewhere as a stalker or in a warehouse, we make sure that they can lift, certain things, that they have hand eye coordination. And those are kind of, as we say, the hard skills. And that's what gets them in the door. What keeps you in the door is your soft skills, which is unfortunately something that some of our individuals struggle with a lot. And so, what we do as job coaches here at RENA is we help our individuals prepare for that different soft skills that they're going to need. And what we suggest is learning the culture of the workplace, right? And that's something that's really hard, is because every workplace might have a different set of rules. So even from store to store, right? If you work at one Costco up in Toronto, their culture might be different than a Costco might have up in Barrie, right? Their work culture might be different. One of the bosses might be very open and friendly, and everyone talks and chit chats while on the job. Where at another location, the boss might be serious, so everyone might be like truly focused, and they won't want you, to be chatting. And for our individuals, that's something that's really hard to understand. So, what we suggest in order to get the individual ready is to kind of go into the workplace a few times before they actually start the job and work with their job coach to understand what is the workplace culture of their job, right? So, some of the things to look for, are the people serious or is it relaxed, right? Like, you know, what should you wear on the job? If there's no specific uniform, like should you be coming in a suit and tie? Is that what people are wearing to the workplace that day? Or are people, kind of in jeans and a nicer top? So just to go in and learn like what kind of things like you can observe and to feel comfortable and to sort of understand what the culture of that workplace is going to be. So another thing like to work out for is, do people go on break together? Like, is it a group that everyone goes on break together in a certain spot? Or are people kind of separate and they want to take their own time to be alone during that break, right? Because those are things that are going to keep you on the job. Also, like, look for, are you allowed to like listen to music while you're working, right? Like some workplaces, people might be wearing earbuds and they're allowed to do that while stocking shelves. In other locations, a boss may say that that's rude. We don't want you, looking at your phone or wearing headphones. So we really suggest or like to get an idea and to walk in a few times, not just once, walk around, pretend you're a customer or pretend you're going in for the first time to a workplace and write down some of the things that are the culture of that place.
That is awesome. That's such a good suggestion. I think that's so helpful in terms of, learning some of the practical things that, something as simple as finding the bathroom or your transportation to work. I know something that I like to practice when I'm starting a new job or going to a new place is I actually try out the transportation before I go. So I know that on the first day, I know I'm going
Mhm.
to be stressed. I know I'm going to be thinking about all these different things. The last thing I want to think about is how do I get there? So
Yeah.
practicing those things, I think that's so important.
Yeah, so we often practice, with our individuals, the bus route or however they're getting there before. And also some things that sometimes our individuals like don't understand is necessarily a concept of time, right? So everyone says be early for a job. And to some people that's 5 minutes, to some people that's an hour. And a lot of the times with our individuals, like you have to kind of explain and make sure they understand. So if you're an individual going for a new job, make sure like you're not an hour early, right? Because how does that look to an employer? You're kind of loitering around and lingering, and you might be taking away from some of the other people while they're working because they might get distracted by you being there early, right? So, really understand again, that's one of the things like, yes, how long does it take you to get there on the bus? And maybe look around in the area if your bus was early that day, right? And you got there a little early, look around the neighborhood to see like what's around your workplace and where you can sit and wait, until your shift starts so that you're not like waiting necessarily like in the front office of the workspace where other people might be trying to have a break or, you know, customers or deliveries might be coming in and out, right? So find a place like in your neighborhood of your workspace that you can sit and wait for your time to start.
Love that. That's such a good suggestion. Thank you. Um, Something else that you kind of alluded to a little bit that I'm curious about is, so let's say once we've got the job, we're in the job now. I find routines are really helpful. Do you have any suggestions that you offer some people that you work with, for building a good routine?
Yeah. So, I mean, some of the things is we have to be a little bit prepared for routines are helpful, but we have to be a little bit prepared for the unpredictable too, right? And I know a
Yeah.
lot of, our individuals are like, I like coming at 10 to 10 on my shift, and I like having my break from 12:15 to 12:30. Now, let's say it's Christmas holidays and 12:15 to 12:30 is really busy right now, and your boss is telling you like, no, can you please have your break at 1 today, right? So you have to, as much as we love routine, we also have to be willing to be flexible, right? And be able to sort of go with what's happening at the workplace at that time and learn how to do that. But a routine is a really good thing to start off with, right? As long as you're able to veer a little bit, from that point. But some of the things you should put is like we write down kind of like a list of like what your tasks are for the day, which can be really helpful, right? So sometimes, supervisors might give you a task at the beginning of the day and then you'd have to go and find them again. And it's really stressful to find them after you finish your first task,
Hmm.
to find out what your next task might be for the day, right? So, something we suggest, which is helpful, is to go up to your supervisor and say, can you give me a list for the day? Give me all the tasks I have to do today, right? So, you don't put that stress on yourself to be like, now what do I do? This task is over. I don't, my supervisor's busy. My coworkers like are all doing something. So try to get your a list ahead of time so you can have that routine and know what you're doing for the day. And what I like to do is if they have a whiteboard, to write down all the lists, or I bring like a little pad of paper with a pen, I write down my list, and then you can kind of visualize it and check it off once it's done. And you feel a sense of accomplishment, just that little check mark that you've done it. And then you can move on to the next thing, right? So you don't always have to look for a coworker or for a supervisor to find out, what I should be doing. You always know what your next thing is.
Love it. I'm such a list guy, so that that works for me. And so you mentioned something really important too, in terms of, sometimes things change, right? And the customer might need you somewhere else that you might not originally have been. Um, a lot of the times that could be stressful for some people. So I'm wondering,
Mhm.
how do you suggest people ground themselves on more stressful days or stressful tasks?
Yeah, so we have to be open and upfront with our coworkers and our boss, right? And understand what our limitations are, but also be able to express our limitations to our bosses, right? Or our job coach. So if you are feeling stressed, instead of like just wandering off and not telling anybody and no one knows what's happening, like feel comfortable just to say, you know what, give a solution to the problem, right? We don't want to create problems at work. So we don't want to go up to our boss and say, this is too stressful, I'm out of here, right? And walk away. That's like where they're going to wonder, are you right for this job? But you could, if you are feeling stressed out, you can walk up to, your supervisor and say, I'm feeling really stressed out today. You gave me a new task and that's okay, but could you just show me one more time, how to do that task? I just need it like shown one more time. Or can you like write out the instructions for me? Give them a solution to what your problem might be, right? So then it's not a problem anymore. And if you need an extra break, like you can go up and say, you know what, today, like I'm really good. I can do this. It's just really busy, but am I able to take like an extra 2 minutes and I'll stay 2 minutes later? But I just need an extra 2 minutes right now. And then I'll stay 2 minutes later on my shift. So when you're feeling stressed out, just try to find a solution that works for you and present that solution to your supervisor.
These are incredible answers. Thank you so much. They're so helpful in terms of, figuring out sometimes when we are stressed, when we are still, maybe early days as well in the job, we haven't really, found our foundation yet. Figuring that out early on and saying, hey, it's okay if I make a mistake and it's okay if
Mhm.
I need some extra time. I think that's such an important lesson. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Another question I had that a lot of people ask, and it's always good to know and go over. What in your eyes makes a good resume or cover letter feel honest and genuine to you?
Yeah, so that's a tricky one now, like going through our new kind of world and bubble of AI. In the olden days, when I was applying for jobs, right, you'd kind of write your resume and you could really count a lot on your personality because you would personally go into a store and hand in your resume, and an actual person would pick up your resume and read it. And you get that face to face. These days, everyone, kind of when you walk in, they're like, oh, we have an application online, right? So, how do you make yourself kind of stand out from all those applications when they're not seeing you, they don't know you, right? And you're not getting that face to face. And a lot of the times, what you have to do, unfortunately, these days is create a different resume for every job that you're applying to, right? So we used to just have kind of one resume that was like a stalking person. You'd have one resume, right? And if you were applying for a business job, you'd have another resume. But really, what you have to do to stand out these days is to go on the company website, look for their keywords, like the language they're using on their website and on their platforms, and then put their language into your resume. A lot of the times now, companies are using something called an ATS system where an individual isn't even reading it. It goes through a computer and it's looking for keywords that spit out onto your resume. And usually you'll find those keywords that they're looking for on their either in the job description, in their job posting, or on their website, right? So you have to use the same kind of language that they're using in your resume and customize your resume for each specific job that you're applying for. Your resume too shouldn't be so personal. It should just have the facts because they are going through so many resumes, right? And they don't want to be reading a lot of information. That's where a cover letter is really a good place to, if you want to put anything else like sort of personal or show a little bit about how your writing style is, a little bit of your personality, you can put that into your cover letter.
Wow, that's so helpful and so interesting how things have changed now with AI and with technology and figuring out ways that we can really utilize what we know, right? Following the things that they say on the job application or on the
Mhm.
website, doing a bit more research maybe of, what is it that they're looking for specifically and what do I bring to the table that I can help with this? I think that's such an important part that you brought up.
Mhm.
Thank
Like
you.
what I find a lot, like if you're looking like at certain, just to give like an example, let's just say it's an Old Navy, right? If you want to put Old Navy and they have like a motto that's like, we're looking for a friendly, fun, energetic employee, right? So you'd have to put that in your bio, being like, I am a fun, energetic, right? Look, like put the same language that they're using.
Yeah.
Whereas some other companies might say, we're looking for a very organized, committed, loyal, right? So you would change your resume. You might still be fun, but that wouldn't be on your resume. You would put, I'm organized, right? So
Yeah.
that your resume is matching what their mandate and what their vision is for their company.
Yeah, wow, amazing. Thank you so much. We're almost out of time for today, but I thought I would just finish off by asking, is there anything that you would suggest to people for, just starting out, just getting their first job or first even volunteer opportunity? What would you suggest for people?
I really think you brought up the good point about volunteering, right? Like, don't be, look, the job market and labor market is really hard. Even entry level jobs these days, you're competing with a lot of people. And unfortunately, as the minimum wage is going up and up, right? It's been going up every 3 months in the past few years. So the expectations of workers are a lot higher, right? It used to be you can go in and say, I just want to stock shelves. I don't want to do cash. And they'd be like, cool, we have someone else who can do cash.
Hmm.
But now a lot of times there's only one or two people working. So everyone's got to do everything. The expectations have gotten a lot higher, right? So go in with an open mind and like really go in with solutions, right? With like what you can do. Sell yourself with what you can do and not with what you can't do. That's really like the main goal. Go in with confidence, looking for jobs, and try to find something. I mean, realistically, your first job that you get isn't going to be your dream job, right?
Yep.
So you got to kind of be realistic about have realistic expectations. First jobs are there to pay the bills. You want to like it, but you might not love it, right? You might not
Hmm.
love everyone you work with. You might not love exactly what you're doing, but you've got to be open to get that experience. So just be really open minded and willing to try a bunch of different new things. And a lot of times, volunteering is a great way to do that. Um, and network, right? Use your connections to find jobs. Just going on the Indeeds and on, Charity Village job boards, everyone's doing that. If you know someone, like ask your friends, hey, what do you think about working at this place? And talk to people, find out what they do, right? Go investigate some of those jobs and see if it's something like, say, hey, go up to, if you want to work at a Longlows, go in, ask the manager there, like, hey, can I just observe like this, like maybe shadow you for the day? I want to see what you're doing. See if
Yeah.
it's something like you'd be interested in.
Yeah.
Who's going to say no to that, right? Have a free labor. Can I just come in and kind of check out like, how does the store work? How do you operate? I want to see if it's something I'm interested in.
I love that. I love that. Putting yourself out there, trying new things, and that's how you learn, right? I say this all the time, but you have to know you have to know as much as what you don't want to do and what you don't like,
Mhm.
as much as what you do. And the only way to know that is to experience it and to try it out, right? So thank you so much. This was so wonderful. You are amazing, and
Oh,
I
thanks so
love the work you
much.
do. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.